Okay. Hope you guys can hear me okay. And if you are watching this posted live stream, please do me a massive favor. Make sure to please like this video and make sure to also please subscribe. There is so much news coming out of Minneapolis and Minnesota. It's like shock and awe, and I don't want you guys to miss a thing. And I want to start going live more often so I can update you with what's happening and you can all see it in real time. So recently, very recently, Governor Tim Walz has finally responded or is now talking about what's happening in Minneapolis. And the reason why I am saying he has finally started to respond is because, as many of you are aware, Governor Tim Walz has had two major announcements, or if you're unaware, he's made two major announcements. Major announcement number one, obviously he is not rerunning for governor, big announcement. And the other big announcement is that he launched this new, what's the wording here? This paid leave program. He's going to talk about this paid leave program, and many people are questioning, how do we know there might not be issues with this? And he actually says, I take full responsibility if anything happens. We'll dig into that in a second because a lot of people are questioning, that. So let's start with this. Here is Governor Tim Walz statement. And again, he was not taking questions. This is another very important point here. When Governor Tim Walz announced that he was not rerunning for governor, he didn't take any questions. Now he's taking questions. Here we go.
I'm going to fight it by doing the respect that we should have for rule of law. So I just think all of you see this. It is just going to be relentless. Why 2,000 folks? What are they coming? Do they want to coordinate with us? You saw a U.S. attorney stand up, which would have been let go by any other administration, speculating about things with no factual information. That's defamation. That's coming from the U.S. attorney. We are under assault like no other time in our state's history.
Okay, so you're hearing it right from the governor. He is referring to this federal investigation as an assault, and Kristi Noem has responded to him. Now, if you guys are unaware, just a few hours ago, I actually posted a video showing how the mayor of Minneapolis has not responded to anything, and none of the city councilors on their Facebook, their social medias, they haven't responded to anything either as of right now. So believe it or not, a lot of people are really quiet about what's happening, even though just in December, we saw this outcry or pushback that, we're going to do what it takes to push back. And I see all of you guys in the live stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you're also please liking the live stream. That helps out a ton. And I don't want you guys to miss the other live stream. So you can also turn on your notification. I think that helps. So again, he's referring to this as an assault.
Because of a petty, vile administration that doesn't care about the well-being of Minnesotans. My job is to protect the well-being of Minnesotans. So the good news on this is Republicans are sure they're going to lose the governor's race dramatically. That's fine by me. I don't care who sits in this seat as long as it's not one of them who hurt Minnesotans. I care that it's somebody who understands and respects this office.
Okay, so we actually have a response from the Trump administration as to what exactly is going on. This is going to be a short clip. And this is why the Trump administration is in Minnesota. And by the way, they've been in Minnesota for a long time. It just so happens now everyone is paying attention for obvious reasons.
This is a all hands on deck across the entire government effort. We are surging resources. You saw today the Department of Homeland Security announced we have nearly 2,000 agents from the Homeland Security Investigations Team. The FBI is on the ground, and we're freezing money. HHS cut off funding for child care centers and for daycares. USDA Secretary Rollins has been asking Governor Walz to see the recipients of SNAP in his state. So this is all hands on deck. Rest assured, it's a top priority for President Trump. And he believes that Governor Walz is criminally liable. And I think the Department of Justice is going to find out.
Yeah, it seems like every agency right now, it's all hands on deck. Now, when Homeland Security says 2,000 agents are on the ground, I mean, that's not only ICE agents, it's everyone involved as far as operations throughout all of the capabilities of Homeland Security. Now, this was the actual post from President Trump. Let me know if you guys saw this, but for those of you who did not, this is what President Trump had to say about this. Minnesota's corrupt governor will possibly leave office before his term is up, but in any event, will not be running again because he was caught red-handed, along with Congresswoman Omar. And if you guys hear my dog in the background, now you know I have a dog. And others of his friends, stealing tens of billions of taxpayer dollars. I feel certain the facts will come out and they will reveal a serious, unscrupulous, and rich group of slime balls. Governor Walz has destroyed the state of Minnesota, but others like Governor Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, and Kathy Hochul, which, by the way, this could be foreshadowing for what's to come, have done, in my opinion. And again, he is saying, my opinion. An even more dishonest and incompetent job. No one is above the law. So this is from the president. Again, Governor Tim Walz is sort of posturing up and saying, I don't know why this is happening. Yet, Homeland Security is letting everyone know why this is happening. Now, if you guys are unaware, Homeland Security this morning quite literally said, "Good morning, Minneapolis." Here is the director of ICE talking about, this is why we're here. So whenever you're hearing politicians and people question, why are we here? I mean, I cannot tell you how many different ways and times Homeland Security has let everyone know, this is why we're here.
Todd Lyons joins us now, acting ICE director. Great to see you. Thank you for sticking around, obviously listening to President Trump tackling a number of issues. He did talk about the border and accomplishing the security there. And you can't do that without ICE. Talk to us about that happening in real time, the crackdown in Minnesota, Mr. Lyons.
So what I'm really proud to say is the fact that, kind of like you highlighted, we have the largest immigration operation ever taking place right now. It's a great effort by ICE. Both of our components, enforcement removal operations.
And by the way, he's talking in context of the entire United States. And make sure again to please subscribe to my channel because I cannot tell you how many stories are not being reported. It's insane because it used to be news agencies, if they found out ICE activity was in the area, that was the biggest story. But as many of you are aware, the biggest story right now is, of course, flooding into Minneapolis and St. Paul. These are only 2 cities out of how many other cities in the United States? When have we heard about anything California? There's a lot more going on than people realize. But again, this is a massive operation throughout the United States, but a lot of the focus is here. And thank you, Chris Kinsey, for the $20 donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Here we go.
Homeland Security investigations, they're on the ground. HSI agents, as you've seen in the media, have been going door to door to a lot of these suspected, companies that are not only hiring illegal aliens that shouldn't even be in the country, but also, being involved in potential human smuggling, human trafficking cases, but also looking at these fraud cases as well. But one thing we should really note, too, is the fact that states like Minnesota that have a strong sanctuary city policy and sanctuary protections do attract other illegal aliens to come there to take advantage of welfare, public assistance, SNAP benefits, and that's just a magnet.
And this is coming straight from Homeland Security. I don't want to be accused of trying to form a narrative. You're hearing this straight from the man himself who runs ICE. Now, in my investigation, I do follow a lot of Oregon. I don't know if you guys watch any of my Oregon videos or Portland videos. There is this direct correlation of the more pushback you have. In Oregon, you have a very unique situation where the pushback really is these different counties and cities and towns declaring states of emergency because of ICE. Not the weather, ICE. And all of these different counties where we saw states of emergencies, we actually saw more deportations happen. And again, the reason why ICE is saying this is happening is because the attraction of, if I'm a sanctuary city and I'm an illegal immigrant, the obvious implication is there's probably people who are not supposed to be here in a sanctuary city. But I've been doing a lot of investigations as far as the more pushback there is, the more deportations you have.
That brings that criminal element that can hide in plain sight. And that's what we're finding up in Minnesota. Very proud to say the Secretary of Homeland Security, Noem, she was up there today. She ran an awesome, successful operation, got a suspected murderer and a wanted rapist that was hiding, again, in plain sight in Minneapolis. And that's what ICE agents are doing on the ground up there. They're up there taking the fight to these sanctuary jurisdictions that allow these criminally illegal aliens to roam the street and take advantage of the public assistance that should be there for every taxpaying American.
And we will be talking about Noem here in a second. I mean, she really is the headline of the news today. Noem just straight up driving into Minneapolis with Homeland Security, finding a criminal, leaving, nothing was done. No pushback, like 3 protesters. City councilors did not respond. The mayor did not respond. In my humble personal opinion, I think Homeland Security holds all the cards in this operation. I don't know what anyone can do about anything, and that's a good thing. We don't want any sort of clashing or violence or nothing like that. Now let's get back to this clip. Tim Walz, this clip is going pretty viral. Thank you to Vori Darkins for posting this. Make sure you guys go please subscribe to him. He's awesome. This is where Governor Tim Walz was questioned about the new benefits program he has, and people are asking, hey, if there's any sort of issues with this benefits program, like, what do we do from here? And this is what the governor had to say. I am curious what you guys think about it.
Governor, what about people who are concerned about fraud and trusting another new state government program? Broadly, what words would you have about people's uncertainty?
Look, we'll put these things in. We've known this has been out there, and I think you heard Commissioner Verelich say that. DEED runs the unemployment insurance, too. We know that those programs are out there. I don't think that got reported, but there was an analysis done on the states across the country, unemployment insurance. I think Iowa and Minnesota were 1 and 2 and the most secure. So there's a lot of safeguards in place, and we'll continue to deliver that. And I said, I told you yesterday, and I'll continue to say it, I will be there to make sure. Tim O'Malley and our team over there on program integrity, BCA, we have more tools that will continue to do this. The buck stops with me on this, and that is absolutely true, but I want to be very clear on this too. If the buck stops with me on when there's problems, the buck stops with me on successes.
Okay, so for anybody who are known as clippers, those are people who take isolated clips and then repost them. I would definitely hold on to that clip. And that's why this is going mega viral, because Tim Walz has said that. And honestly, as a governor, he should be saying that. But yeah, that's why this clip is going pretty viral right now. Again, there's a whole press conference surrounding everything happening in Minnesota because Tim Walz has been rather silent about this matter as far as doing these press conferences.
Single Republican supported this. So every Minnesotan from here on forward, whoever uses this program, there is no bit of thanks that would go to the Republican legislators who did all they could to stop this. So I will take full responsibility. We have safeguards in place. We'll do that. Right. But I think the report on this is, as you're hearing the stories here, I'll take some credit for that because we put this program in place. We got it done. We implemented it. We did the work for 2.5 years, and lots of things worked.
Okay, I mean, you're hearing it straight from Tim Walz, so let me know what you guys feel about that. There you go. Again, this is Governor Tim Walz, same press conference, being asked about the 2,000 federal agents. Again, you'd be surprised. We haven't been hearing almost anything from Tim Walz about this. And the other thing I want to point out is there's almost this sense of shock from Governor Tim Walz or the other city councilors like, hey, they're all here. Why are they here? This is literally not breaking news, in my opinion, as far as we knew they were coming. For the last how many months has Homeland Security said, we're about to have 10,000 federal agents and we're going to be coming to a city near you. And Sherry B3347 just gifted 10 memberships. So everybody say thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys so much for your support. And make sure you guys are please liking, subscribing, and turn on the notifications because I do love doing these live streams and there's so much going on. I think this is a perfect opportunity to open up this door, do the live streams, and yeah. So here's what Governor Tim Walz has to say about the 2,000 federal agents.
The war that's being waged against Minnesota.
Actually, he's calling it a war. Everything nowadays is called a war, right? That's like what people do.
The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras. I'm going to note to all of you, today is January 6th. There's no debate what happened. The President of the United States led an insurrection against a fair election to try and overturn that and, report both sides of this. Well, he said he really didn't, and courts convicted.
And again, I do want to remind everyone the question was about the agents in Minneapolis and Minnesota, and this is what direction the response is going in. Okay.
400 of them, and he pardoned them. No, he did that. He did that, and that's today. And it's clear that we also saw today he implemented 5 states are being punished with a freezing of federal funds illegally that were appropriated by Congress, our tax dollars. And I find it interesting that Minnesota, California, Illinois, and New York were taking that. The interesting thing is the biggest fraud trial in the country is taking place in Mississippi today with $100 million of welfare fraud. I don't believe Mississippi was on that list. So look, this is a concerted effort to try and destroy the president's opponents, to destroy the rule of law. And it became apparent to me that he was going to do that with me being there, and I just feel...
So again, you kind of get these conflicting answers of, I don't know why they're here, but I knew he would do it.
Along with my family, that it's the best decision for Minnesota, and I feel very confident in that. I think it's going to be clear that Minnesotans agree with that.
Okay, let me know what you think about that. Now again, the obvious huge question everyone has is, why did you drop out of the race? Was it because of allegations, investigations, the pressure? Did people tell you? And this was his response again. And for the new people joining, the reason why so many questions are being asked right here to Governor Tim Walz is because he didn't take any questions when he announced to everyone that he was dropping out of the race. And the reporters were very upset about it, like audibly upset. I think one of the reporters was like, I thought you told us we could ask questions, so. All right, here we go.
Governor, what decision to end your campaign by yourself, or did you receive pressure from Democratic allies?
This is a decision that I make and make with my family, and certainly I think, as I said, it's the right decision. I'll note, I think it's appropriate we're here today. The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not...
Oh, is this the same response?
...coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras.
Yeah. So there you go. That's his response. Again, referring to it as a war. Now, Governor Tim Walz, after the press conference, decided to post this, which I have no idea who's in charge of the Governor Tim Walz social media, because I covered this story in great detail, and Governor Tim Walz did not post the right facts. Governor Tim Walz posted after the press conference, ridiculous, nobody is fooled into thinking this buffoonery is a reasonable use of taxpayer dollars. It should not take 50 ICE agents to arrest one guy in a library. Now, by the way, this has nothing to do with the 2,000 ICE agents. It has nothing to do with the federal surge. And the only reason why I bring that up is because he took this post and connected it with this post. Trump administration is deploying 2,000 federal agents. Let me know if you guys saw this video. It was like a couple weeks ago. These agents were there for a targeted operation at a facility which has a library there, but there's also a courthouse situation going on there. They were there for a targeted operation. But he connected it to, I don't know why they're at a library. In fact, I've covered so many ICE operations, I cannot recall one time Homeland Security has ever gone into a library or targeted a library. I'm not saying they can't, but I've never seen it, and I cover this every day, 24/7. So he got the story wrong. But regardless of that, Kristi Noem responded. Kristi Noem is everywhere right now. And she said, really? You're worried about taxpayer dollars? There's been $9 billion stolen from the taxpayers in Minnesota since you became governor. Again, this is from Kristi Noem. You won't let us in Minnesota jails, and there is rampant assault against our law enforcement thanks to vilification from politicians like you. So yes, there's strength in law enforcement numbers to remove these violent criminals from the communities you refuse to protect. Right. So whether there's 50, 500, if this person is a criminal, do you guys care how many people? Which is why you don't hear, I said this before, you don't hear the argument too much anymore from Democrats like, we don't support the police or defund the police. When was the last time you guys ever heard defund the police? Seriously, when was the last time you ever heard that? And the reason why you don't hear it anymore is because that's just a policy Democrats and Republicans actually agree on more than people realize as far as the voter is concerned. That would be categorized in security for the country. Now, ICE is also on this campaign as far as letting everyone know they're in Minnesota and in Minneapolis. And they also reposted the post of Governor Tim Walz on X. And they said, does that mean your sanctuary state will now honor our immigration detainers? It's a self-defeating argument, unfortunately for the governor. Now, I also covered this story. If you guys are unaware, there was an event with ICE, which happened about a week or two ago, where Homeland Security in Minneapolis dialed 911 to try and get some help because their agents were surrounded. And ICE actually posted the 911 call. And according to Homeland Security, the Minneapolis Police Department did not respond, but the sheriffs did.
Homeland Security, I got officers getting attacked.
Okay, where?
On West 29th and Pillsbury, I got forwarded to Minneapolis, and they're not answering their phone.
I got forwarded from Minneapolis, and they're not answering the phone.
29th.
It's right down the street from Chicago Lake Liquors. Yep. West 29th and Pillsbury Avenue.
Are you all right?
They're surrounded, and they're being attacked.
Yeah, so that's from ICE to prove that, hey, we've been having issues in your area. Thank you so much, $2 from Born a Hawk. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, and he says, hey, look, people have questions for Timmy. And here is Kristi Noem, again from Homeland Security, posted by Homeland Security. Again, massive media campaign here. When I cover all of these different sanctuary cities, you don't see stuff like this from Homeland unless they are super serious. Thanks to the Patriots at ICE, the Minneapolis area and our nation are safe. We are incredibly proud of their continued work to remove gang members, terror members, and everybody else.
How's everything going? You get lunch today?
Maybe like 20%. Yeah, a lot of them have had a lot of them.
Yeah, super busy day, guys, in Minneapolis. And if you guys are unaware, Kristi Noem went on an operation this morning. It's pretty wild. That's her right here. And I already covered this, but in this video, she said, you will pay for the consequences. Here she is. Yep, they're busy. So yeah, that is the response we are finally getting from the governor of Minnesota. Let me know what you guys think about that or this. And I am still waiting for more responses from the city councilors, from the mayor. Radio silence as of right now. I don't think they know what to do. I think they're just waiting to see if Homeland is going to be here for a little bit and then leave. It doesn't look like that's the case. Now, the big question I have is if Chief Bovino is going to roll up and Border Patrol. That's going to elevate this situation into something else. That's what I'm waiting for. Whether or not Chief Bovino will keep operating out of Chicago, possibly Arizona, or will he be rolling up into St. Paul and Minneapolis? Wow. All right, guys. Yeah. Thank you so much again for being here, and make sure to please turn on your notifications, subscribe, and like. We're going to be doing this a lot more. I love doing these live streams, interacting with you guys. You guys are all the best. We are 6 days into the new year. Feels like we are 30 days into the new year. I mean, with all of this going on. There's operations going on right now in Oregon and Washington as well. There's some buzz in Arizona, so we are covering everything here. I don't want you guys to miss a thing. But there's a lot of different political aspects, of course, coming out of Minnesota, which is why so many people are paying attention. So, yeah, I will keep you guys up to date. And thank you again so much for being here. Thank you guys for everything. I will see you all later. Again, turn on those notifications. Turn on everything. I don't want you to miss anything. God bless, and we'll see you all later. Thank you guys so much. I really love you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.